welcome to the Larps and Tarps. Today, me and Morgan will be talking to Tom all about lineages and trying to convince him to become one day.
Never.
Because he's a coward human.
I'm a pure blood human.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh, pure blood.
Oh, not sure I feel like that. That's, it's nothing to do with your blood. It's to do with, well,
Well, it is.
Well, it's not.
Every lineage page on the wiki says, Briar blood runs within your veins.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So
What I meant is that it's not like two changelings having a child have an equal chance of producing a unlineaged human or a briar or whatever. So, but yeah, there's a cafe in Empire that gives discounts to lineage peoples.
I declare racism.
What nation's that in?
The League.
Okay.
They are our good friends actually. Who run?
Oh, they gave us free coffee on the last day. Is it them? When we were packing away our tent? I guess you weren't.
The insert very complicated name here that I can't pronounce.
Yeah. Oh, the eclectic Clary. Electrocute Carry.
No, please don't.
No, they're it's a friend. You got some friends of yours.
Yeah, friends. Do awesome coffee, by the way. If you're ever going past the League and see them get their coffee,
they do this discount for lineage.
So for bringing things full circle.
Yeah. So for those of you who have got this far into our podcast, this is your first time listening, and you're going to pick this random episode, Lineages. Let's give you a bit of context.
welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. Every episode is someone's first episode. So Lineages, basically, in Empire, there are two races that you can play. You can be an orc, and you can be a human. And that is it. There's nothing else outside that. In the world, there are actually more races, but there are only two playable, orc and human. Then if you want to play a human, there are 6 lineages. So bit more of an extension on that. In Empire, the setting, there is the material world, which is where everything takes place, but there are 6 magical realms which touch the world, and sometimes the magic from those realms touches other people and creates lineaged people, of the 6 of which you can be. Orcs can't be lineaged, only humans can be lineaged. And we're going to go through them today, talk about the realms are associated with and how they're role played and what they look like.
Okay, so let's start off. We'll go in order that they appear in the Wikipedia page. Starting off with Briar.
All right, briars are interesting. So briars are probably, in general, most lineages are just accepted. Briars are
Stigmatized.
pretty much the only ones that are like, well, the Navarre fucking hate briars as like a rule. I mean, that's been shifted recently though. Because
I feel like briars have a very Navarre vibe because they've got like the bits of
but it's forlorn shit. That's why.
Yeah, no, of course.
I think there was a synod judgment this year which meant that Navarre don't have to be anti-briar anymore. But I don't know how that's.
I think they're just a bit more wary of them. They don't want to fight near them because, especially not against the Valorn.
Yeah.
Because
Should we go into depth of the?
First of all, what they look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So briars have patches of bark on them, typically green eyes, which you can obviously achieve with contact lenses. So you don't have to. Obviously, all these things are optional. Having 1 or 2 of these. Trappings. That's the word.
So
Thank you.
Every lineage, I guess, has things called trappings, right? Which is like related. Then they all have one iconic trapping.
Yeah. So for this one, it'd be the bark.
Yes.
Really.
So it's like at a minimum, you should have the iconic trapping, which
Is
I
the
think.
bark worse than the bite? However. Sorry, that was a terrible joke. I'll go now.
Okay. But also other trappings.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That would be really sorry. You could have, which one is it that has fangs?
No, Naga.
Is it Naga? You could have a Naga and a Naga and a briar band that's called The Bark is Worse Than the Bite.
Well,
that would be so good.
Draga have quite sharp teeth as well, or they can have predatory teeth.
Okay, we're doing a band. Yeah. We're getting a briar and a Draga and a Naga. The Bark is Worse Than the Bite. Sorry. Rewinding back. Yeah, so the iconic trapping is bark skin.
Green eyes, thorns that should be poking out of the clothing. Distinctive veins, similar to the
green veins, right? Yeah.
Very prominent. They can also have flowers growing out of the bark as well.
And then the bark grows is like a scab, right?
Yeah, it's like if they get an injury, like this is why if a briar child wouldn't typically have
lineage.
They would look unlineaged because it's not until they've had like a serious accident or they've been wounded that it really comes out. It's like their blood is bark.
Can you imagine if you had eczema?
Oh, I'd be a tree person.
You would just be a tree.
you'd just be covered in bark.
Yeah.
Um,
I suppose I don't know how deep we would
Yeah.
have to go.
So yeah, that's interesting because back when, again, I don't know the current state of affairs, but back when Navarre was like very anti-Briar, it was like, it would say like Navari, what would sometimes, if they suspected someone being a Briar, they'd cut them to be like, are you a Briar? And they'd cut them
it
to
would
find
see
out,
whether or
to
not.
see what
Question: Do
happened.
you think Briars have like a socialist system, like a class system? Like, ooh, I've cut myself. I'm solid mahogany. Like they used to say blue bloods for aristocrats.
Yes,
like, what are
no,
you?
I am
I'm just
a-
pine.
Yeah, I'm an ash tree. So the interesting, so that's kind of what they look like. They're the spring realm.
Yes, they are.
And spring magic is responsible for the monster called the Valorn.
What monster?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the Valorn?
The Valorn are creatures of the spring realm. They are real monsters.
Emphasis on the real.
And they are enemies of the Navari, basically. So they look
Yeah.
like plant creatures. You can get different types of Valorn. There's a long and fabled history of the Valorn, which I'd like to go into at some point because it's really interesting. That's why Navarre, who are massive enemies of the Valorn, are super suspicious of
The Briars.
Briars.
But is it true or is it suspected that if a Briar gets killed by the Valorn, they will turn into one?
that is true. That's yes, basically. I don't think they become a Valorn, but they become a Valorn spawn husk. I think.
Oh yes, yeah.
I think I'm totally don't really know. I'm not Navarre.
Well, we'll research it before we do our Valorn
yeah.
episode.
But they don't have. Yeah, that's basically it. So, like, if a Valorn dies, if a Briar dies exposed to Valorn miasma, they come back as a Valorn enemy.
Yeah.
And I think that means that their soul can't go to the labyrinth. I think if you get turned into a Valorn spawn husk by the Valorn, your soul cannot pass on to the labyrinth.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
Dark
pretty
stuff.
messed up. Yeah.
So I suppose if you were a Briar, you probably wouldn't want to fight against them anyway.
Oh, yeah. There's the other thing was, as of winter this year,
Yeah.
Briars started growing flowers.
Oh, so is that a new thing? I was going to say because I read about it in the wiki, but I didn't know it was new. I mean, I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah,
I
so
read that today.
so it's winter solstice. It was last year. Winter solstice 383 YE. They started growing flowers if they'd been fighting in Brokeliand, I think.
Oh.
I think they wear them like badges of honor.
Yeah, so it's like you've been fighting in Brokeliand and you start to sprout flowers.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you can have a little Dornish briar covered in flowers. Oh yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, perfect.
You could be Briar Tristan of the Roses.
Oh gosh, can you imagine? No, I like my antlers too much. Tristan's a fucking changeling to his core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can go from being a human to being any lineage, but can you switch to different lineages?
I don't
Well,
know.
you can have your lineage removed.
Well, I don't
right?
know. This is the thing. So you can get the Twilight Masquerade ritual, which can temporarily remove / give you a lineage. But you can't.
So that's temporary.
Yeah, I don't know if you can permanently remove your lineage. I know you could gain a lineage by sufficient exposure to the right realm. But
Yeah.
if you know, write in, let us know.
I just like holding someone through the Sentinel Gate. Embrace that realm. Only 5 more hours.
The other thing is things that aren't trappings and leaves and vines. So you're not wrapped in leaves and vines and stuff.
Yeah.
It's specifically thorns, bark, green veins. Technically, the bark has to be on your skin. It shouldn't go out off your skin. Although there are definitely people that are liberal with that.
Do you think anyone's made a bark cod piece?
I did once hear someone saying that they prefer. Someone was selling smut at Empire, and they were like, "I like stuff about hardwood, if you know what I mean."
Well, I think that's the benefit of being a Briar. You've always got hardwood. Hey.
Yeah, but what caused that? what happened there?
Fell down some stairs.
Oh gosh.
So on top of actual appearances, you also get it affects your personality.
Yeah. There's certain role play mechanics
Yeah.
for each. So with Briars, it's things that they're very straightforward and they don't like things to be complicated. They just want everything to be simple.
Simple, Rick.
They are straightforward in the way they come across as well. They can come off as quite rude, quite blunt.
They're very straightforward.
Yeah, very very straightforward. And their mood can shift as well. Basically, they when circumstances change, their opinion over things might change, and their mood will just go along with that. and they don't like conceptual thinking either. This is again with them wanting to be straightforward and keeping things simple. They're much more interested in sort of physical things like, oh, I'm hungry, therefore I'll eat, rather than conceptual, like,
Fancy
mental
meal.
illness and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so they're very much,
They don't like politicking. They don't.
yeah,
They're just
they just want a means to an end.
Did they change with the season?
No, I don't think so.
No, they don't have leaves
Cool.
on them. So.
Morgan is not me. What the character's Morgan is a Briar. When I first met him, he was very like, "What does this mean? Who are you? What's going on?" Like very much like, I just want to know the answers to my
And
questions.
they can be quite impatient almost as well. Like they're very restless. So if you see them walking, they'll be walking quite quickly. They just keep moving. They don't want to sit down and chill. They've got no chill.
Yeah, no.
No. But they've got a lot of stamina and they're very resilient. And that's part of their boon is boundless vitality.
So what's a tell us what a boon is?
So a boon. So depending on which lineage you've got, you'll have a perk, which is called a boon. So for the Briars, theirs is boundless vitality, which negates weak/tired roleplay effects, which can be quite useful, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the
Weak
good
effects,
boons.
like does that?
Weakness.
Oh, they can't be weaknessed.
That's
really good.
I think.
Oh, it only applies to role playing effects.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It does not allow one to ignore supernatural effects such as that inflicted by the weakness spell.
Cool,
So you might have a potion, which is it's like a side effect that you feel weak and tired, but the actual potion causes some other effect, like an actual mechanical effect. But there's like when you look at the potions, it says roleplay effects and mechanical effects. But if the roleplay effect is weakness, you feel weak and tired. A Briar could just ignore that and not play to that.
Yeah, cool. So there's another thing. So this is they can get overwhelmed by the realm they're in. But I really like the term being overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
Which is when like the realm kind of you're so suffused by magic that you provide like an outburst or something happens. So the Briars is like being really short tempered and lashing out, right? So they can
really
get kind of
impatient and
really
frustrated.
annoyed. I think I've talked about this before. I've definitely talked about it in private how because as someone that plays Lineage, getting overwhelmed can often be met with awkwardness.
Yeah.
Because people are like, "Hey, is this person mad?" Out of character. Because if you recall, E1, no, E2, E3?
We went
Which one did you went to the rampage?
Yeah, where I kicked off at a table.
That was E4.
Was it E4? No, Emma was there. I think it was E3.
Okay. Oh, you kicked off at a tavern. I thought you went on a hacking adventure because you were
No,
cursed.
no, because
That would have been
that was very
E3.
different. E3, where I kicked off about
The Barons.
not going to the Barons, and Tristan got really, really mad, and everyone was just like, "Dude, you okay? It's just a game, bro." And I'm like, no one said that.
overwhelmed.
No one said that, but everyone was like, "Is he all right?" Like, but it was like, but I think it's a really interesting thing with LARP of kind of like people being like, which I think we need to have more adoption of like
Checking
signals when you're okay, because there's a good one we use
Yeah.
at Three Kingdoms where you do that, so people can confirm you're okay.
Maybe we should start that.
Yeah, I think we should start doing that because it's just a really subtle way of being like, I'm in character. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
For anyone listening, he's making a hand gesture.
Oh God, yeah, like the OK symbol on my chest kind of
Yeah.
thing. Just been like, yeah, I'm all good.
He's middle fingering you all.
Yeah, that's what I told him. It means peace.
So
Peace to all
Peace
kind.
to all okay.
for Briars, I just imagine them like in a queue or something, or like walking behind people and just getting really impatient. Like, can I get past you? Like, why are you walking so slow?
Yeah,
like road rage. I imagine them pure.
Yeah, no, I can see
Foot
that.
traffic
Flipping
red
out, smacking you.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like,
Right, as much as this is a whistle-stop tour, shall we go to the next one?
no,
No, we're going to be Brian all night, all
No,
the
we're gonna
time.
dig our
I think
heels
Tom
in
is
now.
a bit of a Briar. He wants to move on to the next one.
No, I'm happy to all night. but
I was
we'll
just gonna say.
listen all
I was just
night.
gonna say there is a bunch of information about specific nations' interest, like opinions on the on different lineages, which we probably don't have time to go through.
Yeah.
So
check out the Wikipedia page.
check out the wiki.
Is
to
there
talk
anyone
about them.
particular? Probably be Navarro.
Well, I say
What's the
let's go
marches?
for our nation. So there is a suspicion in Dawn because of something called the Freedom Heresy, which was a bunch of Briars kind of rebelled and became separatist almost within the Empire. And Dawn, it happened on Dawn's front door, so they were a bit suspicious about Briars. But it happened like 60 years ago, I think. So it's not
Yeah.
much of a thing. The League I don't think cares, obviously. Oh, briars are seldom seen in Leaguish society. They are too direct for the subtleties of Dead Reckoning.
That's why I still shouldn't play the League. I'm not subtle enough.
I imagine the Brass Coast would quite appreciate the directness.
And the Navarre are pretty suspicious of them.
Yeah, as we've already covered.
As we've kind of discussed. I don't think there's anything about the Brass Coast.
What about the Marches?
No.
I heard someone say the Marches.
Oh, the Marches think that if a briar dies on their land or if it's buried there, nothing can grow there, I think.
Okay.
Oh, many Marches believe briars are accursed and have nothing to do with them. Yeah, Marches don't like them. Yeah. Briars are just not. In fact, let's just go. I won't do this for all, but Dawn, suspicious. High Guard, burn them.
League don't care.
Briars, honestly, they don't do well in the League. Marchers think they're cursed, have nothing to do with them. Navarre, suspicious. Urizen, find them too instinctual and too direct. Varushka have a deep-seated prejudice and don't trust them.
So, Briar, you're going in for a hard time.
Yeah, unless you're Winterfolk. The Winterfolk like them because they're direct.
Oh, fair enough.
Especially Steiners. Are like, yes, these people are direct. But everyone else doesn't like them.
Get out of my house.
But yeah, so that's Briars. That's the spring realm. So let's move on over to autumn.
Yeah, the autumn realm is the Cambions. So Cambions have got curved horns, sort of ram's horns.
Yeah,
almost.
Specifically ram's horns.
Yeah, and they are also distinctive with their metallic-looking eyes, skins, talons, hair, and labyrinth marks as well.
Yeah, they have like claws, don't they? And then I've seen people with this so there's a ritualist in Dawn, and she has every event put more and more metal on her face, as she's done more and more rituals, as if autumn is kind of slowly seeping through her.
I think there's one in the League. I think it's a Bravo who's just painted gold.
Yeah, there's quite a few people like that. You can have multiple horns on your head, so you don't just have to have one pet set of horns. Briars are fun, not briars.
No,
Cambions are fun.
Yeah, I don't think I could play a Cambion because they're so driven and ambitious and political. And I feel like you'd really you'd have to want to get into that political game.
Cambions are
outspoken.
Cambions are very Leaguish, kind of manipulative, Leaguish, and a certain flavor of Dawn, of that kind of socio political manipulation and playing the big game of chess kind of vibe.
I'm not gonna lie, the Cambion's look has been one that really appeals to me, but I would just go for the horns and the claws myself, not the metallic skin.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I really wanted to be a Cambion based off of the look, but then I actually read the brief and I was like, nah.
That's the thing. I had the same thing about Briars, because I was like, one of my future characters wants to be a Briar, and I looked at what they're like. I'm like, no, I don't think I want to role play that. But yeah, I like the idea. I think I'd love to do Cambion, but I'm not clever enough.
I'm just saying.
It's clever and it's confident, though. Funnily enough, changelings are very confident, which you are. But we'll talk about them in a minute.
Yes.
But Cambions are very competitive as well. They thrive off of a good challenge. It's not necessarily as much about winning as it is having a good opponent, having a well-matched opponent, but they will hold a grudge against you if you beat them.
But they also, everything you say, I kind of associate with stuff when I hear about the League, is that kind of competition. I mean, there's a whole thing in the League, whereas if you've had to kill someone to win a competition, you've lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the idea they want a good opponent, they want to manipulate, and they want to win through that.
Just not onto races, but I do love the fact that they put that thing in the League brief so we don't murder each other.
Yes, that is very funny.
To be fair, another way that they're a bit like the League is that they don't tend to do things altruistically. They tend to do things in exchange for a favour, or they'll call in a favour later on, or remember when I helped you with this.
I imagine that doesn't go well down the Brass Coast.
I don't know, but then aren't they important for contracts in the Brass
Oh, no,
Coast?
yes, they do well on the Brass Coast. So it won't be a favour. They'll be like, yes, I'll do it, but you have to write a contract.
But it's all right, because, exactly, because the Brass Coast work well with that as well, because they wouldn't do anything for free either in a way.
But it's not it wouldn't be like a remember when I did this. It would be like, we've written a contract, you owe me this because I've done that.
Yeah, exactly. It would be an exchange on the spot.
Cambion blood is written into contracts, isn't it? Because it makes them true, because Freeborn believe something about them being good scriveners, I think, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something about it being signed with Cambion blood. I can't remember exactly what the belief is, but it is better if the scrivener is a Cambion, in the Brass Coast anyway.
So when they get overwhelmed, they get really stubborn, right? Is that no? I said that earlier.
Boon.
That's their boon.
Their boon is stubborn will, which so there's potion. I think it's called the Weakening Sun, which basically is a role play effect of it will basically makes you easily coerced, and a Cambion can basically just ignore that.
They also, whenever we go to places like the Black Plateau and Spiral, where you get like, basically it's the same thing for changelings can do this, but it's like you feel hopeless and scared, and instead of Cambion you can just be obstinate and just be like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Shut up. I'm not listening to you.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, what are
They're
you?
very
Put
much
yourself
like
together.
Yeah, march the front lines. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
they're very much like, I will make up my own mind.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me how to think, how to feel.
I'm going to the front line, but not because you told me to.
Like, I have decided this.
Cambions sound like they make great generals if they're not affected by that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a really kind of like, shut up. This is how we're doing it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be really
very-
good.
Picture very World War One, World War Two general, like march,
Yeah.
march forward, march.
Yeah, I feel like they have to be the head
So,
leaders, right?
I feel like having them in a high leader position, if they do get overtaken by overwhelmed, as it were, by the
Overwhelmed.
Autumn Realm, they become very ruthless and they'll just do whatever it takes to get to their goals.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could go quite badly. if
Sound
they
more
were in
reliable
leadership
than
power.
changelings over realm, though.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't say it's hugely different because changelings just get really arrogant.
Angry.
Really angry. We'll go into it.
Yeah, we'll get into
I
that.
do
next.
love the horns. The horns look absolutely
Yeah.
There's some
epic.
fire.
I love the picture of this senator for Tasato. He just looks prime Cambion material.
There is actually on the wiki, there is a how to make Cambion horns. So anyone that's wanting to be a Cambion, if you go onto the Profound Decisions website, you can find out how it'll go like step by step on how to make some horns for your character.
That's cool.
You can also like buy like devil horns, spray paint them, and make it look a bit real, like not plastic.
But you can even get them from
It's
like
the big curled ones I love.
Yeah.
there were some little ones from Poundland at Halloween, and people were like spray painting them, and like it kind of worked.
There's a Navari Cambion with the massive horns, the massive gold horns. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I've seen
I
them.
think so.
Oh, you must do it. I think he wears like a green turban. So I thought it was freeborn for ages, but it's just to hide, obviously, the base horns. They come out like, they're probably like a meter wide. They're these massive horns on his head. They look incredible.
That's one of the reasons I don't play Lineage. Like things like that, it just seems like I've got to mind my space. I've got to
Yeah,
bear
but
in mind
you
where my
don't have-
horns are.
You don't have to go that over the top with it.
Also,
I know.
I always say every door in Empire is cursed with night magic. So every time I go under it, I get Twilight Masqueraded. My antlers are gone. But yeah, beautiful. That's Cambions. To go over kind of ally nations, Freeborn like them because they're good scriveners. They do. Many Cambion find a spiritual home in the League.
I wonder why.
And then nothing particularly written about them for the Dornish.
Yeah,
Cool.
But yeah,
that's fair.
how are you feeling so far, Tom? Briar or Cambion?
Oh, Cambion by far.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to touch Briar of a barge
suppose-
hole for me.
I suppose you're already in the league, so it's not really.
Yeah, it's not a
really
stretch.
I'm a leaguey weegie.
So, changelings.
The best lineage.
Yeah. Well, look, you're the expert on this one, so I'll let you go.
So
I feel like Changeling is the basic choice of Lineage.
Oi!
It's the most popular one.
yeah, it's because you get to wear elf ears.
Elf ears and little horns.
So changelings are suffused by the realm of summer, a realm of passion and heated emotions and
Bow, chicken, wow, wow.
well, they are. Well, they're not horny; they're antlery. But yeah, so changelings are suffused by summer. They wear pointy elf ears. That's their iconic trapping. They also have antlers. You can have
mane.
like eyes. You can have a big lion mane. Spiral markings kind of all over your body, which is something I want to experiment with
Maybe
a
I
little
should be a
bit.
changeling just so I could have hair again for a weekend.
And then feathered brows. I've seen a few people like their eyebrows. They have feathers coming off
Oh,
them.
you don't often see the
You
feathered
don't.
brows.
And when they do them, they pull them off really well. I think they look really good. Dawn is full of changelings. Like you cannot move for changelings. There are some houses in Dawn.
You mean Dawn is full of the people who can't control their emotions?
Hey. Yes. But changelings are kind of like the idea behind changelings is they are confident, bold, and vain and
Superiority.
complex.
So
Always.
Morgan's just playing Morgan.
Oh wow, thanks. But literally, like kind of like we would suggest at one point, we need to get a beautiful gilded mirror in Dawn for all the changelings to check themselves out.
Oh, don't do that. High Guard will just go and smash it.
Changelings think they are the best. Changelings are like, no one's better than me. No one. Obviously, if there's a roll up for grabs, a changeling will take it because, well, obviously I'm the best person for the job. If there's another changeling, all right, we'll have to see it. I mean, obviously I'm better than them, but we need to. There's a bit more of a chance there.
That's the last thing we need, a changeling on the throne. Ego will
well,
go
I think we're gonna get a changeling on the throne.
We'll discuss this later.
Yeah, I think I know who's going to be on the throne. I think they're going to be a changeling.
They tend to have like very clear speech, very eloquent, very straight posture. Because obviously,
they'll stand up straight, talk. They want to be perceived as the best because they are the best.
Yeah, and they want people to know it.
Now I really want to see a hillbilly changeling. Oh, howdy, y'all! I'm the best spitter in my village.
Ding. But they are. So we've talked about this before. They can get very wrathful, so they can be full of. They're very. Again, summer is an explosive realm of emotion and feeling and fury, and that's when I've got ticked off in games because I've been like, I'm really annoyed.
Oh boy, here I go raging again.
Yeah, exactly. But changelings are basically, if you ask a changeling, what's a changeling like? We're the best.
Yeah.
We're beautiful. And sometimes
anointed.
maybe I lose my temper, but only for the right reasons.
You don't have to get anointed. You can choose just to be angry on the battlefield, like the Cambions.
Yeah, so that's our boon. So I keep getting the boon.
Sovereign
I keep
Fury.
getting boons and fucking overwhelm mixed up because their boon is that instead of getting scared by role playing effect, they get mad.
Yeah.
So when you go into the field, if there's somewhere that's with a miasma is going to make you feel frightened, you can either expend a hero point to throw that off, you can get anointed to not get done in by it, or you can just be a changeling. Or you can just be a changeling and you just get real mad, which makes you more likely to not listen to orders.
Just so we touch on it, because I don't think we did with the Cambion, they do exactly the same thing, don't they?
Similar.
But
like slightly different triggers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the changelings basically just get out there and they are angry.
Yeah. So if you're trying to scare a changeling, they'll get pissed off. And if you're trying to get a Cambion to do what you want them to do, then they will stubbornly turn around and go, no, I'm not fucking doing that because I don't want to.
Yeah, 100%.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah, exactly.
But the changelings are, which is why usually if we're getting anointed, changelings are the last to get done. Because it's like, let's anoint everyone else first. We'll just have to deal with angry changelings. Although someone once told me an angry Dornish changeling is a dead Dornish changeling.
So I believe with boons you can decide whether or not you use them, can't you?
Yes, but the alternative to using it would be being scared.
And why in character would you want to be scared when you?
But also you can't use your hero points,
which is a big hit on the battlefield.
Which would cripple me. So like it's kind of like you want to use it.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm a chump. I've got to go and get anointed.
I usually get anointed anyway, because it's the sensible thing to do. But I'll be like, do me last if you've got some left. Otherwise, I get mad. But I would like to embrace my Dornish fury, my sovereign fury next time, and get a bit angry. I
mean, I'm sure it'd be quite fun to roleplay as long as people know that you're roleplaying.
Yeah. I remember once we were coming back from a battlefield, and the person who was leading us said, "Right, I'm handing these guys off to you. We have about 50% changelings, right? So just prepare yourself for that. It's going to be tricky to get them back." And there's just like bristling changelings, like. Being overwhelmed is becoming increasingly arrogant.
Yeah.
So they can just be like, I am the bee's knees. I am better than you. Who do you think you are? Do you know who you're talking to?
Like you can end up getting yourself into trouble, like thinking you're going to win a fight when you're definitely not.
Well, that's why I remember we lost tug of war to the Marchers, and I nearly, because they cheated, and I nearly flew off the handle when I saw other people hugging them. I was like, okay. I guess we're fine with this.
It's cool. It's all cool.
It's fine. We're okay.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
But yeah, so that's changelings. That's who Tristan is, my little arrogant little boy.
And have you enjoyed playing a changeling?
I love being a changeling.
Yeah.
Although sometimes I try to be arrogant, and then it takes over a little bit.
It's very hard to be arrogant when you're so innately British.
Yeah, and I'm like, because I think the most I probably got overwhelmed a little bit because I had my rose flower cloak and people kept complimenting me on it, to the point when people complimented me on it, I stopped saying thank you and started saying, I know, right? I know, right? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it fantastic?
Look
Or
at
I said to one
Flo.
person, "Oh, you're the first person that told me that." And they went, "Really?" I went, "Of course not." And then walked off. I was just like,
Oh, I love
"Yes,
Oh, the
I am.
arrogance and sass.
I am beautiful."
We need to put you on RuPaul's Drag Race this trip.
We need to remake my flower cloak actually for spring. But yeah, that was really fun to do. I love being a changeling. I love the ears. I love the antlers. I do miss being happy.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely love.
I don't think I could do changeling.
Oh, it's so much
I'm not
fun.
good at complimenting myself or feeling arrogant.
It's I really enjoy it. I enjoy just like I say, the one thing I've said this a little bit. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I had role played a little bit more. So sometimes things have happened that have pissed me off, and I've been like, pissed Tristan off. And I've been like, I wish I had kicked off a little bit more there, or I wish I'd been a bit more arrogant here.
I can do my go-to self-deprecating humor to get out of a situation.
No, you absolutely could not. Although it's good for your mental health to not be self-deprecating and instead be self-aggrandizing.
Yeah, exactly.
overrated.
Like maybe it's like, when people do power poses.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, if you keep telling people you're the best, eventually you believe it.
Yeah.
Uncle Nietzsche's going for the worst Bravo in the league.
But yeah, that's Summer Changelings. That's who I am. There is a massive soft spot in my heart for Changelings.
Very nice. And we're going to go through nation to
Yeah.
nation.
So actually, let me. Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
sorry. Got another
please,
point?
no, please go ahead.
I was gonna start moving on to the next
Oh,
one.
no.
But you go first.
So I was going to say, I was saying some houses in Dawn only accept changelings because they're like, changelings are the best. You're not a changeling. In Dawn, adoption's a massive thing. So houses often swap children. So what happened? Changeling
Yeah.
house might have a non-lineage human. They'll be like, you're not going to have fun here. Off you pop.
I just
And
like the
then they'll
idea of
get
going to the
adopted.
market day. Swap your kids.
Swap your kids here.
I'll throw in a loaf of bread because this one's... Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. It's a high guard.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Don't like
everyone.
Don't like lineages because they think your soul has been tainted by the realms, and you find something called unveiled lineage peoples, like unveiled changelings, cut off their horns, snip off the tips of their ears, cut off their mane because they want to reject that. You still have the boons and stuff about you that still affects you. Because I know someone who plays an unveiled changeling, so they have like sawn off antlers and stuff. But I think that's a really interesting thing of this internal conflict of being like, I actually hate this. Like, I hate that my soul's been tainted by this, and I'm kind of being like, no. I
So maybe you
reject it.
could be that kind of changeling,
But
trying to overcorrect yourself.
Yeah, but I suppose you could. You still have to, and you have to
You
kind of
play
like.
you keep accidentally complimenting yourself and go, no, I'm terrible.
Yeah, I don't want Ty God telling me what to do.
I was once told by a Varushkan person that changelings are sometimes looked at suspiciously in Varushka because they look like monsters because they've got antlers, and everyone's like, which I think is interesting. And also they're seen as too, what does it say here? They're too reckless.
Yeah, to be fair.
because we are.
That arrogance,
We are quite reckless.
Just listening to every other podcast that talk about changelings, like, how are you guys still alive?
a Dornish glory charge with changelings in it, and then the changelings turn around and go, "Where has everybody gone?" But yes, sorry. We'll move on now from frothing about my favourite lineage.
How does the league feel about
Fine.
changelings? Isn't
It doesn't say.
No, fair enough.
Specific. So, Tom, if you're keeping track, we've gone through 3 seasons so far. Can you tell me what the last season is?
Is it winter?
It is winter. He's keeping
Do
track.
I get a cupcake?
You get a sticker.
To be fair, Kerry's been promising listeners cakes for
We
recognising
can't afford
Yeah.
that much cake, Kerry.
Yeah.
I will bring cake to Empire.
I think at least one person doesn't go to Empire, so we'll have to meet them at a different LARP.
Just meet them in a
okay.
field in the centre of the
I
country.
will send cake with someone.
Someone who's going to an event with them.
Yeah.
Little do you know, cake is actually a random child we've made in Empire. Here you go, here's cake.
We're just giving children away.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Tom wants to do a heist where we take children from the academy and give them to people. I think. I don't know.
I don't think that's so much a heist as it is human trafficking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Winter. Right. What do
Yes.
you think? What do you think winter is, Tom?
Yeah.
Is
If
it
you-
Oh,
though-
actually, sorry. No. Before we go on, which lineage so far out of the 3?
Yeah.
has to be Cambion.
Still Cambion.
Yeah.
Still Cambion.
Cool.
Okay.
Is it D for Draugr?
Draugr. Yes.
Draugr.
Yay, I got it right.
Yep.
Draugr, which is based off like a Norse thing, which are like I'm not going to say any more than that, but it's part of Norse mythology as a
Yeah.
Draugr, kind of
Aren't
like
they
undead
the
creatures.
zombies in Skyrim?
Yeah, undead creatures is like a Norse thing.
It
I
really
know it's-
creeped me out in
They
that
very
game.
much look like that with the pale skin, distinctive veins, scarred flesh, wrinkled skin, and it says predatory eyes and teeth, so like black eyes and like jagged teeth, claws, that kind of
They
look.
can eat rotten flesh.
They can. That's their boon, actually. They can eat and drink anything without being disgusted or having to throw up.
Just as a note, this doesn't affect you out of character.
Yeah, please don't actually drink my potions.
Don't start eating rotten flesh at Empire. You will still get sick. I know it feels real, but the magic of Empire is not real.
Yeah. So they're very cold, surprisingly being of the winter realm. And that doesn't just, that's not like a temperature cold. That's like emotionally they're cold. They don't really feel emotions, and they certainly don't really feel things like empathy and sympathy. They just aren't really affected by emotions. They're not moved by them. But they do have a bit of a pack mentality, so they will be sort of protective around their family, and then they'll just sort of see other people as rivals. And ultimately, they're very calculated as well. So they, that classic philosophical debate is like, would you let the train run over 3 people, or would you pull the thing to switch tracks so it runs over 1 person? They would definitely run over 1 person to save the 3. Like, not even a question for them. Like, there's, it's pragmatic, I think is the word.
Yes, they can remove themselves emotionally, can make hard
They
decisions.
don't even have to remove themselves emotionally. They are already
They're removed emotionally. Yeah.
and as such, they have a very distant demeanour.
They sound great for Emperor or Empress.
No, they don't.
No.
You need a bit of compassion.
They sound quite
Yeah.
Thanos-y, really, don't they?
Because that's the thing, right? Because that's an interesting perspective. But you can be like having someone that's just purely utilitarian. They're like, oh well, this move will kill 30 people, but this will kill 10. Oh, we'll kill 10. Should we not look for a third option? No,
Yeah.
it's quicker to just kill the 10.
The Empire really needs some straightforward thinking at the moment. I feel.
Maybe having one on as an advisor.
Yeah. Look, I feel like equal representation of the
Yeah,
lineages.
you
is
know what? Yeah,
important.
exactly.
Says the man who would never want to see an orc on the throne.
It's not
That's
a
not a
lineage, that's a
lineage.
race.
Yeah, so you just
And also,
racist.
please do not air my in-character racism on the podcast. Thank you very much. I'd like to keep that to myself.
Yeah, you've got to meet.
Hey, you
Kristen.
shouted out my Valorn.
I actually, Tristan likes orcs.
Oh,
It's
fair enough.
just the Empire's a human empire. So, so I don't know what you want me to say. Fuck, I wish I hadn't said that. Don't.
Alex, edit it out.
No, don't. Just you didn't hear that.
Yeah. So we've discussed the boon already. It's called Carrion Feaster.
It's
Karen
so-
Feaster.
it's
Yeah,
so-
they can eat
Karen
Karens.
feast. That's so. I wonder if anyone's ever role played bringing like rotten meat and eating it.
Oh, well, most likely.
This has been in my
Surely
bag for a
someone
few
has.
weeks. And it's just like slopping it in.
I imagine you can get LARP safe rotten meat.
I imagine you could just make.
You just get food colouring.
Bleh, just make
bit of green on it.
make your meat. Bleh. That's making me feel.
Yeah. Do you like green eggs and ham?
I do not like them. Draugr, Sam.
Yeah, so that's their boon, and I don't think that really has any actual roleplay effects, unless maybe there are some potions that if you drink them, they'll make you sick. But then those are usually ones where you're meant to sniff them, not drink them. So
I suppose you could just take a leg or an arm off someone on the battlefield here and supplies for the week.
yeah,
I think as well because winter's generally a pretty scary realm. It's like inhabited by eternals like Agrament, and it's just not a pleasant place. I think Draugr get a bit of a bad rep.
yeah, they
'cause
look scary.
People think they're cannibals because they can eat rotten meat and stuff like
Yeah,
this.
and they look scary, and they're not emotional, so they're not happy, smiley people. Like they literally, they don't smile, they don't do physical touch, really. They don't like hugs or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're mean. They don't feel anger and frustration either, really.
I guess you could use this from a roleplay perspective of. This says here you can't eat an entire body to dispose of evidence, but
Yeah.
you could do stuff like
can
eat a
try.
finger so it's gone, kind of thing. Like if it was ever, you can role play with it in funny ways, but just yeah.
I don't see why you'd have to dispose of a body. Like,
No,
It's not really part of the role play, anyway.
this is true.
Uncle Nietzsche's Draugr farm. Just like, right, need to get rid of a corpse. There we go.
Could you divide it amongst a whole family? These are questions we need answers to.
Refugee help for Draugrs.
But yes, and then when they become overwhelmed, what is it?
So they are very preoccupied with preparing for threats. That they're constantly trying to make sure that, worst case scenario happens, they're ready.
Oh, I bet the Varushkins fucking eat that up.
Maybe, yeah. But when they are overwhelmed, they become overly preoccupied with this. So their whole thinking is like trying to gather supplies or whatever, and they get very distracted by it all.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like the sound of Draga.
Oh, I was right.
Yeah.
Varushkan Draugi are able to make difficult decisions, and ability that commands respect in this harsh land. Yeah, it's like, yeah, cool. These winter creatures are cold and unthinking, and they'll make hard decisions to protect us from the sovereigns.
Yeah, I could see you doing Draugr. I could imagine him with like pale face paint, the veins drawn on, and I feel like you'd be able to roleplay the low emotion quite well, because I don't think you get particularly like
Tom, can you make
phased
difficult
by
decisions?
things.
Not really.
That would be his
that
tripping
is
point.
the issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
But could you pretend to?
I could pretend like planning my own birthday. I'm like, yeah, come around at 6 or whatever time you want to come around.
But I don't think that Draugrs have birthday parties. I don't imagine.
Poor Draugr.
Could you imagine
Well,
the
they
cake?
don't. Why would they want a birthday party? Why are they gonna like? Why would they want to have a party?
That's true. Changelings have full birthdays.
Yeah, well, that makes
They
sense.
have one before each summit, because it's like, this is my quarter birthday, this is my half birthday, this is my 3/4 birthday.
By the way, I'm going to start doing that now. Every 3 months we're having a party.
I have a friend that has a half birthday.
And now you have 2.
She has her birthday in September and March.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the Draugr. So
Draugr's pretty cool.
Draugr or Cambion?
I think it depends on what I'm feeling at the time. They've both got very cool vibes.
You don't get to just jump between them though. You've got to choose.
I think so far Cambion is still
Cambion, yeah.
Yeah, just about.
I think you're going to stick with Cambion, because I don't think the next, maybe the last one.
Yeah. So next we've got Merrow.
Merrow, fish. Well, okay, they're not fish people, but fish people.
They're not fish people.
Day Realm.
I'll start off by just saying not interested, just for the amount of phenomenal work people have put into making their Merrow costumes look
but
amazing.
Not everyone does put that much. I mean, some people just have the hair. Because
You
have
can
like
get some little
teal
prosthetic
hair.
gills.
Yeah,
That'd
the
be
little
quite easy.
catfish.
Little catfish,
What
little
they called
things.
barbels.
They drive me up the wall.
They would
if
be
I had
so
them on.
annoying.
But the little gills on your neck, I think, would be enough.
I could call
Gills.
myself Old Gil.
Mottled skin, bit of mottled skin that'd be quite easy to do with some face paint and the hair. You can get a wig,
Yeah.
or just do your beard, spray paint it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's never really appealed to me, Merrow. But
No.
go on.
So Merrow are
Curious.
merfolk, kind of fish guys
Yeah.
associated
They're a bit
with
fishy.
Day Realm. Fishy. You see, like you say, the little thing,
Barbels.
barbells and stuff.
They got gills, mottled skin, scales. It says blank/bulging eyes. I don't know how you prosthetically do bulging eyes.
How
but
do you do that?
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, they often have no iris or pupil, entirely white or entirely black eyes. You can do like an entirely white contact lens.
I
Yeah.
hate
Oh,
the
that'd be
idea of
so
contact.
yeah,
freaky.
that's for blank eyes, but it also says bulging eyes.
What does it say, bulging? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could get some like goggle things and put them over.
This is a very hard effect to achieve, but can be done using lenses that cover the eyes, which are set into a prosthetic or domino mask worn over the upper face. So it's kind of like you'd have to have a mask over the top.
Yeah, it sounds very uncomfortable. Also, people do like webbed fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our friend does web fingers.
Which I imagine, is that a glove?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because you want to take
No,
it
the
off to wash your
stitching
hands.
the flesh together.
Well, no, I always think it could be prosthetics, but you'd want to be able to wash your hands properly and stuff.
Blue-green hair is like the easiest one to do, I
Yeah.
guess.
I think that's what most people do.
Little fins. Yeah. I mean, you do like, you could do the gills like
Oh, the deep.
the deep from the
I
boys.
was just thinking of that scene. No.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, so you can fully do. They look like fish guys, basically. There's some
and
really impressive
They
prosthetics
are
for it.
just super chill. Like, they're really inquisitive. They want to know everything, and they like to analyze things, but they also are just very calm. Like, they don't get overcome with emotion so much either.
They're
like
logicians, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
very kind of like.
pragmatic.
Didn't you say they're
Pragmatically
like
practical.
Spock?
No, I think I was wrong about
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So I think the Spock thing is Well, I have compared them to Vulcans, and someone did confirm that for me, but I don't think they're as intense as Vulcans.
Yeah, the thing is, Draugr are very much like don't feel emotions, and Mero are very much like they feel them, but they don't get overwhelmed by
Which
them.
I think
Like, they
actually
don't
is a Vulcan.
overreact.
Well, no, that is Spock. I've never watched Star Trek.
Neither
but
have
isn't
I.
Spock, because he's like half human, half Vulcan, he is in touch with his emotions a little bit, so it's kind
Yeah.
of like an in-between.
It's like he feels them, he just doesn't make decisions based off of them.
Yeah, really funny how I'm neither a Mero nor a Trekkie, so weighing
Yeah,
in on
same.
this is completely just whatever.
No one here is either a Mero or a Trekkie. Anyone with more knowledge on either of these subjects, feel free to weigh in the comments.
Yeah, they're very cerebral. In fact, I know this. They do well in Urizen.
Yeah.
Like, they're great thinkers, and they're very calm, and they can think about things, which leans into Urizeni poise and stuff like that.
One thing they don't like is games of chance. They like games of skill, but things like we've done that spinning wheel. Someone was walking around with a spinning wheel, and you've got to go
wouldn't do
higher
that.
or lower. They wouldn't like to play
Yeah.
games like that.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
And their boon is also not really good for role play.
well,
It's more of a. It's not. Yeah, it's not something that you can practically use, but it's something that's great when you're maybe writing your backstories and talking about your downtime activities. They've got deep silence, which means they can survive underwater for long periods of time. And they can't live underwater, but it means if they've got to swim like across the Atlantic Ocean, they'd be all right with that.
Please don't try this in real life if you play a Mero.
Yeah, definitely don't submerge yourself in water for like half an hour just because you're a Mero. You're not actually a Mero. Those
Larps
skills
and,
are just...
Larps and Tarps
Larps
is not
and Tarps.
taking
Larps and Parts.
responsibility for this.
It does say that they don't live. They can't live under the sea.
Yeah,
so they
that's-
have to come
yeah.
up every few hours, don't they?
Yeah, like you can go on long journeys and you can stay underwater for a while, but there's no undersea Atlantis.
Yeah.
That'd be great for ambushes on the Druge if you're kind of doing like that Pirates of the Caribbean 1 thing where the skeletons are marching under the ships and just climbing up the
they
ropes.
could definitely do that.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be so cool.
It mentions here there's not really practical applications. It's just good for like
Yeah,
go to your background, but also sometimes quests outside of the game might require you to be underwater.
yeah,
for a period of time.
downtime.
The Mero Commanders, that sounds like a cool idea.
Mm.
Commandos.
Maybe a Mero, Freeborn, Corsair.
Yeah.
Might be interesting.
Yeah, no, yeah, that would be cool because you can investigate shipwrecks as a mirror.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can look for buried, sunken treasure, can't
Yeah,
you?
that
You
would
just
be
go,
good.
A lot of cool little ideas for Mero.
and then when they become overwhelmed,
Oh yes, overwhelmed.
they become consumed by their pursuit for knowledge. So just imagine someone locked up in a library, reading books, spooling through all these information, forgetting to eat.
Not
You
easy.
know, exactly. Like,
Why do I feel ill? Just
exactly.
yeah.
I've not slept in 3
Oh.
weeks.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did they go full Kyban with discovering cures so they
Or
infect
or
everyone
to
and
be-
then
Yeah.
Maybe discovering what's in the bottom of the ocean. Like they're going deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Like how many Mero have drowned because they've been overwhelmed.
Oh yeah.
And they've just gone too far and
Oh,
they
that'd
couldn't
be a
get back
good
up in
concept.
time.
we just made the Mero really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything can be dark if you try hard enough.
Even the day realm.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Ah.
Pop quiz. How do you think the Marchers feel about the Marrow?
Suspicious.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Marchers tend to treat Marrow with suspicion,
Yeah.
finding them cold and too clever by half. As a result, most Marrow-born the Marchers gravitate towards the fens of Brega's land, where they can find acceptance as part of a community of fen dwellers. I'm assuming that's a fenny. I don't know. The guilds, the Reckoner guilds of the league. Don't know what that means, but they like them apparently. Of the
I've not really
league.
come across the Reckoners too much. I think they're like your kind of lawyers and thinkers and contract makers.
And then the freeborn just pack them off to Urizen.
Oh.
They're just
I
like,
see.
you'll have better time in Urizen, off you fuck. Like that.
Oh, really? Considering how
Marrow
you know.
children from the Brass Coast are often sent to be raised in Urizen because I think in the Brass Coast tradition where it's all open and you know,
yeah, to be
they just
fair,
wouldn't
like
get on.
personality wise.
yeah, they wouldn't fit in. Can you imagine having a kid and then being like, oh, fucking hell, it's blue. You have to ship it off to Urizen.
I like the idea of shipping them off, just putting them in a parcel.
Yeah, literally shipping them off.
Anything about Dawn? I don't know how they do it.
Nothing mentioned in Dawn. I
No.
don't think they do well in
No.
Dawn. Do I know any Dawnish?
I see
Marrow.
quite a few in Navarre.
Just trying to assess the logic of every charge you're doing. It's like, is this really logical?
Yeah.
Force?
Charge! No, we have to charge!
There's such thing as flanking.
The advisor on the Vlorn is a Naga, but he sometimes, Twilight Masquerades is a Marrow. I've seen him as a Marrow a few times.
Yeah.
when I think it's when they're doing research, they'll twilight as a mirror, so it helps them with that. I think, which I think is interesting. I don't know. That's completely unfounded. I just know that they do it. But yeah, that is the Marrow. So there's one left. We've done right. What do you think the realm is?
Is it nighttime?
Correct. I'm not even going to ask if you'd be a Marrow because I know the answer.
Yeah.
I think I said it right at the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to say
No,
absolutely
not
not.
No.
So we haven't
but
convinced you.
Do you
No.
remember what the last lineage is?
Was it the Naga?
Naga.
Yes. The
Yes.
Naga.
Which is
Snake.
Snake man.
Oh, it's a snake.
The night.
Snake.
The snake. The night folk. The snake people.
like, not gonna lie, I've decided to go Naga for my new character,
Woo!
and ever since I've made the decision, every so often my head just goes snake. Like I just be at work.
I
doing
think you
something
have to.
totally
I think if you're a Naga, you have to talk like this.
snake.
You have to talk like you're a snake. Constantly.
I mean, I might accentuate this. I think I remember reading something about the Nagas, thinking that like some of them higher up Nagas try and train themselves out of doing that, but it is something that Nagas do tend to slip into.
Oh, so high lineage Nagas can talk like this by accident.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it
okay.
slips into the conversation.
That's interesting. So their iconic trapping is their scaled kind of brow.
Yeah,
Right?
so that can be a prosthetic, but I'm assuming it can also just be face paint for the scaled brow.
I assume so.
Because I've not decided if I'm going to get a prosthetic yet. Because I was thinking getting weird tan lines with the scales, but then I also thought, what if I just put a base coat of a lighter color and then the scales
how about
on
you
top,
yeah,
and then it would just be all covered.
or get like misting sun cream.
Yeah, or also put on like a foundation, like just foundation,
Yeah.
and then put that on top.
This
So
will also work.
I'll figure it out, and if I end up having to go to work looking like a snake, then I will.
Yeah. What else have we got? They got fangs, feathers, and flat noses,
Yeah,
and
the
funky
feathers,
snake
The
eyes.
feathers I would love to draw in. So there's important detail about the feathers is it's got to look like like a feathered snake, like it's got to come off from the forehead, poking outwards.
Right, yeah, okay.
It's very distinctive. It's not just like threaded into the hair randomly.
Yeah.
You're not meant to look like you part bird or something. It's meant to look reptilian.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think I'll bother with the fangs. I feel like that'd be far too annoying.
Snake eyes.
I don't
What, you're
think
just
I don't think
shoving
I'd
dice
bother,
in your eyes?
I don't think I'd bother with contacts either.
Yeah, fair enough.
Especially not when you can't like
Wash your hands
wash
properly
them
and
properly,
stuff.
and stuff. Like, and we have a friend who has played in a band on stage before, and he had contacts on him because he was playing. He couldn't readjust when he felt it slipping, and it went all the way back, and it sounded awful.
Yeah, they sometimes find them in when they're preparing people for burials. They find contact lenses, like a few that got stuck.
I don't care. I mean, I love LARP, and I'm definitely going to go, and I will paint my face and my arms and my legs and whatever. But
you're
I'm
not
not
putting
sticking
stuff in
shit
yours.
in my eyes.
That makes sense. Oh yeah, here we go. Sibilance. It says it here, so they do a lot of sissing.
Yes, I'm definitely going to have to slip that in.
Nagas speak with a sibilant accent, stressing the final S in plural words, and even lapse into hissing.
I love it because that seems like it's going to be a really easy role play mechanic
Yeah.
to play with.
It just said this cannot be your only trapping.
Yeah, no. Definitely the scales. I definitely want to do that to some extent. I don't know if I'll do a prosthetic brow, but
Yeah.
definitely do the scales.
So what are they like, Nagas?
They are gregarious. They enjoy the company of others. They really like to be involved in like social gatherings, but they're not really so much bothered about being the center of attention. They're more bothered about just being surrounded by everything that's going on. They really like to just sit back and enjoy the vibe,
Good vibes.
They like to be mysterious and get people guessing a little bit, like not in a tricksterish kind of way,
Yeah.
but in they just like to pique people's interest. I'm like, oh well, what did you mean by that?
Subtle
I'm
and
like, oh well,
mysterious.
you'll never know. It's just a bit of fun, and they're also very intuitive as well. And they, unlike me, they are a very good judge of character. So I don't know how I'm going to role play this because, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, maybe I'll just have it where I stick with my guns and I believe I'm a good judge of character.
Yeah, it says some are more inclined to trust their judgment than others.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I at least I can believe that I'm a good judge of character, even if that turns out to not be the case. I'm sure everyone at Empire's lovely, so I'll just assume that it's fine.
Yeah, sure.
And ultimately, they absolutely love to be relaxed. They love luxury. They love comfort. And as such, they have a relaxed demeanor, so they can often be found just sort of like sprawled out on cushions and just chilled out.
You need to get a lot of
resting against a tree.
cushions for your tent.
And like they're just constantly readjusting themselves to a slightly more comfortable position. Like doesn't matter if it looks awkward, like as long as they're comfortable.
Are you going to be taking? Is your new character going to be taking up Lupita's old job in
Housekeeping?
So you need to get a shit ton of cushions.
I need
and
a comfy chair.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then also, do cushions fit so well in Navarre?
It doesn't matter. You're in. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have cushions in Navarre.
They're
know, I
not
feel
that
like-
backwards.
I feel like the Nagas have cushions.
Yeah, exactly.
You make it
That's
sound
true.
like Navarre, like, I'm just going to go and sleep, put my head down on this brick.
They're like a bit of moss. A mossy pillow.
Squidgy moss.
I feel like they're very rustic. Very,
Rustic.
yeah.
How would you define the Navarre? Rustic. It's a rustic.
pure rustic.
They are 100% rustic.
Yeah.
Make it sound like country.
So their boon is called luxuriant senses. So basically they have heightened senses, and this helps them to enjoy all these finer things in life,
So they're-
smells and tastes.
So the hedonists of Empire.
They are the hedonists of Empire, yes. But the luxuriant senses can also extend beyond the five senses to things like sense of direction, sense of balance for dancing, stuff like that. So you can have.
So you've got to be a good dancer.
I think that's sort of more how it can, can
manifest.
come out. It can manifest in different ways because I don't have a good sense of direction.
And I'm
so
the
I'm gonna have to
worst
find
dancer
something
you've ever
that I'm
met.
good at.
Sorry?
Well,
I'm
you're
one of the worst dancers you've ever met.
Oh, well, I've met me, so,
oh no, he's worse. Trust me. I can say that with complete confidence.
I fucked up the YMCA.
it tells you what to do.
You don't want to know what he spelled, honestly.
Oh, my goodness.
But yeah, so they find it easier to relax than humans do because they can just indulge in these
The
sense of
non-lineage.
smells and yeah, exactly. So when they become overwhelmed, though, they become very self-obsessed and selfish and very lost in the pursuit of their goals.
Perfect for a housekeeper, I would say.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Why is the tent a mess? I am relaxing, Nicomo.
You know what? Is exactly the kind of housekeeper that Nietzsche would have.
Yeah, because he won't pay properly.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I've been paid by Lupita to take up this contract.
Yeah.
And now she's out of the picture.
Yeah.
And I'm just sort of dealing with him.
Why am I still here?
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't I with my friend?
Where we get a good hour out of me on midday where I just sort some shit out, but then as soon as it gets either closer to night or like
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
first thing in the morning when it's only just been night, I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that shit. I mean, every time the sun goes
Why
down,
am I in
I'm
this?
chill.
Why aren't I with Gwyn? This feels
Yeah.
like I'm in the wrong
Like,
place.
he's running about. Okay, yeah, no, that's why I'm not with him. He's busy. I am just chilling.
Why does he run? Oh, he's a changeling.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
I forget
I
Gwyn's
will-
a changeling, just
Yeah.
yeah. got the pointy ears.
Yeah, pointy
Yeah.
ears and spirals. Spirals? Yeah,
Yeah, I
spirals.
think he's got spirals.
Yeah, spirals and the virus.
Because he is hit where I've learned to be cautious of weird tan lines from.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so that's the
that
no-go.
covers lineages. So, are we sticking with Cambion?
I'm torn. I adore the aesthetics of Cambion, but Naga reflect my personality completely.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt too. And actually, I really like the scales. I think they look cool.
Like in the
YouTube as like two Nagas would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Go get this. You get it. I'm relaxing.
yeah, I could see Nietzsche if all becoming any of them, it would be a Naga, just like in his office chair, just like
Also, with your shaved head, you could just be like your whole head could be scales.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
look so good.
it's like I can't lie down, can't smush this.
So, we're going to give you a test now.
yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to name the realm. You're going to name the lineage. You ready?
Prepare
Spring.
to see me fail. Spring is the bark people, the briars.
Summer.
Changelings,
Autumn.
Cambions,
Winter.
Draugr,
Day.
Mero,
Night.
Naga.
Yay! He was listening.
Burr, 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 burr.
Right, name one boon.
Change. Oh, let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Changelings don't get affected by miasma.
Yes, but what happens to them instead of getting
They
something?
get angry.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah.
enough. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That was a pretty hard one, to be fair.
So yeah, that's the lineages of Empire. which is
Still like being human.
yeah, well,
we
we're still
all are
human. There's only 2 races, still human. But I like it. Adds a bit of flavor to your role play.
Yeah.
It gives you
A bit
for me.
more.
For me, it's like the personality traits, ideals, and bonds in D&D. It's kind of like it's something for me to spring
Yeah.
off. I'm like,
I feel like that because I feel like when I created Lupita, I was very much just like me in a costume.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like having this background of character personality traits for me to lead into, and this as in all that little things to pick on, and also it adds more to your costume as
Yeah.
well.
I also think because I went to Empire alone for my first time, I wanted to avoid the extra stress of piling on a lineage.
Yeah,
that's fair
I think it's that's also why I didn't choose a lineage to begin with.
Mm.
Partly because costume costs are enough as it is, but also
I just really wanted elf ears.
yeah, you know what? We're gonna get them anyway for second breakfast,
This
so
is
we will all have
true.
elf ears soon enough.
But yes, I hope you've enjoyed learning about lineages. Let us know if there's a lineage that you would like to try, or if we've got anything horrendously wrong, or
Yeah.
what you enjoy about your lineage. Thank you very much for listening.
Great
Yeah,
having
thank
you again.
See you later.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Thank you very much for listening. If you want to keep in touch, don't forget to look for us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can find us on Patreon. Also, we're hoping to get nominated for a LARP award this year. So you head over to the link in our link tree. You can nominate us for LARP Media if you'd enjoyed our content and if you've learned anything. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.